If I go ahead and create something in the viewport, let's say we're gonna create an arrow, and you can see we don't have any options in the details, but we can change some attributes from here. But if I place that, and you can see I get the transformation for the move and for the rotation, I still don't see anything in the details. Let's set this one to 100 by 100. And now if I go ahead and accept that, you can see here we have 100 by 100. And if I go ahead again, let's go ahead and delete that. And let's go ahead and create that again, place it there. You can see here we have the option delta mode. Let's say you want to move the object 20 unit on X. So as you see, it's difficult here to calculate that. So you can come over here and set plus 20, and this will move it 20 units. Let's set it again, plus 20, and enter. You can see I moved it 20 units on X. There is another option. We can come over here. You can see written delta mode. So if I check that on, now the transformation is 0, 0. So now you can just type 20 unit, and this will move it 20 units. And you can click on reset button. This will turn this to 0. So now again, I can set any number I want, 0. So this is very useful if you want to move the object precisely. So you can use the delta mode, or you can add using the plus button. And now let's go ahead and see how to edit the pivot. So let's go ahead and click cancel on that, and we're gonna click on that again. And if I place the object in the viewport, you can see the pivot is at the bottom of the object, and you can change that from here. If you come to the positioning, you can see we have the pivot location, and it's set to base. I can set that to centered. This will move the pivot to the center. And we can set that to top. Let's go ahead and set that back to base and hit accept. If you go to the X form, you can see we have the transform node. So if I click on that, I get the same options for the transformation and rotation plus the scale too. And now if I want to move the pivot, I can come over here and check on the set pivot mode, and now I can move that and rotate it. And then if I check that off, I can now move the object. Now the pivot is at the center. But if I go ahead and set to complete, the pivot is snapping back to the base. So let's say you want to move the pivot permanently on the center. You can use the edit pivot button. So if I click on that, and now if I move that there and click accept, now as you see it's there. So in the transform, when you click on set pivot mode, you can move it and play with the object rotation or transformation, and after you hit complete, this will snap back to the original position. But if you want to permanently move it, you can come to the edit pivot and move it there, and now if I hit accept, it's there. So let's reset everything. We can just delete this one and create the object again, arrow, and position that and accept that. If I go again to X form and click on the edit pivot, you can see we have some presets for us. For example, I can click on the center. This will center the pivot at the center of the object, and bottom, top, left, right, back, front, world, origin. This is the 0, 0, 0. And notice if I rotate that, before I rotate that, let's go ahead and accept that. If I go ahead and rotate the arrow, something like that, and now click on complete and go back again to edit pivot. If I click on the top, Unreal knows that this is the top of the arrow, and if I click on back or I click on bottom, as you see, Unreal knows that this is the bottom of the arrow. But if you click on the use word box and click on the bottom, Unreal will consider the bottom of the word space is the bottom, and if I click on the top, as you see, the top is here. So this is just switching between the word space and local space in case you want to change it, and hit accept.